Meow, baby. Welcome to What Do You Think of This?
Meow, baby.
We're revisiting the best things from our past to let you know whether they're the best things for your future. I'm Jeff Abiad, and with me is Josue Escobar. Hey, Josue.
What's up? What's up?
How you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
Have you recovered?
Yes, I have.
The trauma of the Jabberwocky. I know we left us all in suspense.
Yeah. That was such a crazy trip. Pun intended.
So today, a little less nightmarish. We're going to get to talking about Mrs. Doubtfire. And after that, I do have a couple closing the loop things.
Nice.
Now I'm looking for stuff just so we can use the audio sample. Actually, we should add Meow Baby on there.
Meow, baby.
But first, I also have a quiz idea for today that we'll get into in a second. I was thinking this weekend, because the weather is finally getting a little nicer and we've been outside playing basketball.
It's supposed to be 80 today. It's nice.
Yeah, man, it's funny. 80 is nice. Yeah. I remember as a kid growing up, like we couldn't go swimming unless it was above 70 degrees. We were in New Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
And we're all just like waiting, like, come on, Mom, just let us. And then now it seems insane.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would never.
That's awesome.
But anyway, we are outside playing basketball. We're getting into that place in the life of my children where they're getting better at me at everything.
Yeah. Okay.
Their skills are increasing, and I have to either pretend I'm just faking my way through, like I'm still really good at playing basketball or chess or video games are pretty much out the window now. You know, at what point do you start dialing back when you're competing with your kids? You're playing Monopoly.
Oh, at what point do you actually like start for real, like competing against them? I don't know, man. You know, so we just started playing chess at home, and Ezra's great at it.
Okay.
He's learning really quickly, strategy, looking ahead, like a few moves ahead, right?
Yeah.
And for the first like 4 games or something like that, it was one of those like, I would help him out. Are you sure you want to do that? And I'm like not a great chess player. I'm just learning also. Yeah,
you're just a competent adult.
Yeah, exactly. And a few weeks ago, he beat me. And I didn't let him. I was earnestly taken by surprise on his like sneak attack and his like little face of like, I can't believe I did that. He doesn't see that I'm about to kill him.
Yeah.
And he says, check. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I figured I'm just going to be able to move my king somewhere or whatever. I'll be able to kill him.
Yeah.
And I look at the board and there's no escape. He's got me from either one or the other direction. And I'm like, and he's just smiling because he knows it. And I'm like, oh man, this is what this feels like.
That was a good way to say that. There's no escape. Yeah. It's coming.
Oh my gosh. I couldn't believe it. I was like, Elizabeth, Ezra just beat me fair and square. She's like, oh yeah, good. And she's like, you know, that's really cool, whatever. I'm like, no, I didn't let him.
Yeah.
He beat me like, I made a mistake.
Oh, she like looking at you, the co-parent, like, oh, that's so nice. Good job, Ezra. And you're like, no, legitimately, he just beat me.
Yeah, he really does.
Yeah, I guess because I had that conversation with Ephraim probably while we were playing basketball or something or other.
Yeah.
Where he's like, you know, how come you go easy on the little guys and you didn't go easy on me? And I'm like, yes, I did. You know,
wow.
Like that's what I was going to say. Like, does he have any idea that previously maybe you were going easy? Certainly when you were telling him what to do. But yeah, I wonder if kids ever know until
you tell them or like they finally beat you.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
they question you. Yeah. I don't know. I think he knew I was going a little bit easy, but the games after that definitely wasn't going easy. And there are times where I'm like, Ezra, do you see like the stuff like you see where I am? And he's like, oh. And he like, I still every now and then do that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, he's getting it really, really, really well.
My kids are really intense with each other with chess. Yeah. Like they were just playing last night and I'm in the other room and it gets escalated real quick. You let go of the piece. You let go. It's it. And I'm like, for half a second. Yeah. Let's all have grace with one another.
Exactly. We're not there yet. We still allow each other to like let go of the piece and go, oh, wait.
Yeah.
And it's fine. But once we do get really competitive, it'll be like, hey, once you take your hand off that, it's done. Your move is done.
It gets real. You need those rules because sometimes what the kids will like move something and then go, nah, and then move it back. But then they didn't move it back to the right spot. And then the other person is like, no, it was there. No, it was here.
Yep.
And then it's over. The whole game is over.
Yeah, you almost can't recover from that.
This is why we have rules.
Yeah.
Basketball is a little easier to judge other than we don't know what's a foul. You know? I'm like, hey, I can't tell if you're doing this on purpose, just because, whatever, or you really don't know. But you can't attack me like that.
Arms are flailing.
Yeah. Clark, when he really gets frustrated, will just not even dribble anymore. He'll just grab the ball and just scream and run across because he knows like, it's over. I don't care. I'm just getting it to the basket.
That's hilarious.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it'll go. I guess with you, soccer, I'm trying to think of things I was actually good at because I wasn't really good at. I was fine.
I was never good at basketball.
I'm good enough to compete with children.
Yeah, same.
I like it when the net is lower.
I wouldn't be able to compete with that from him. He's way taller than I am. He just throw the ball over my head.
He's so big. And there are just some certain skills. And that's what I was telling him that I'm not good, but I know what I'm good at. I can defend and I can just drive to the net. I can't dribble worth anything, but if I can just get there.
Yeah.
I'm fine. Especially because the hoop is lower.
I want to get my kids into soccer. Yeah. Because it's still, they're really little. And so like playing with them or trying to get them to do like little drills or here, kick the ball like this or this.
Little drills.
I don't know. Like just, hey, this is how you should, kick the ball or like follow through. And just little tidbit things. And they're like, all of a sudden I turned it into a lesson and they don't want to do it.
That's what I was going to say.
Like, come on, guys.
Yeah, it's work now. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Music's like that too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you have to like, there's technique involved. You have to learn, like, there's rules to it.
Yeah.
To get better.
And they don't want my help. No. So I'm just like, I'll leave the instruments around the house. They kind of do now. Like sometimes they'll come to me, but it is a very fine line of trying to get your kids into something and not overdoing it.
Yeah, because it's like a pace thing and they don't want to, they want to do it on their own.
Yeah. All right. Well, here's my idea for a quiz today. Because I listened back in the edit to Gladiator and I was teasing you over the previous weeks because some of your impersonations were hilarious to me. But your Gladiator impersonations are on point. Your Joaquin Phoenix is just, I don't know if you know how well you do that. You put on this voice and you really talk like him. It was so good.
That's funny.
And of course, Proximo. So I looked up.
Do you want to die, Proximo?
So you can't try too hard, though. Yeah. I looked up a few just characters because today, obviously in this movie, Robin Williams is the master of, just impersonations.
It's so funny. The kids are like, he's the genie from Aladdin. Like, yeah.
Did they pick that up on their own? Yeah. That's really good.
That's really cool.
So I thought I'll give you some impressions to do. Maybe we can both do it. So I'll give you a character.
Oh gosh, on the spot, I might butcher these.
That's going to make it even better. And then you give me one of your lines. So you've got a list in front of you of quotations.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We'll see how this works. All right. So you got a quote ready? This first one, I think, is just a little low ball for you. We're going back to Bane from The Dark Knight. Okay.
Oh, whoa.
So give me a quote for Bane to say.
Just quote.
Pick one of those random ones in your. Yeah.
Oh, and say it in his name.
Yeah, in his voice.
Yeah. Okay. Do I just say the movie or the quote?
Just whatever the quote is.
I'll be back.
So like Bane.
You like Bane?
You want to go?
You want me to do it?
Yeah.
Right. I'll be back.
I'll be back.
That was a good one. That was way better. All right. Do this one.
Okay.
In the same voice.
You want to do Bane again?
Yeah. Okay. Elementary, my dear Watson.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
That's pretty good. I don't think I can do it.
Okay. Give me another line and I'll give you somebody to make it.
There's no place like home.
As Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay, here you go.
Oh gosh.
You can't think about it. You just got to go for it.
I don't know. I can't do Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's a hard one.
You have to find a key phrase that he says.
I know.
Get to the chopper.
There's no place like home.
There's no place like home. Nope. I lost it.
Mine came out like a Korean man. There's no place like home.
All right. Here, let's go animated. Porky Pig, of course, his famous "Bdip, bdip, 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 bdip." That's all, folks. Yeah, that's all I know. So what could he say?
E.T. phone home.
Okay, go ahead.
E.T. phone home.
Ebra, E.T. That real well. All right, give me another. Give me a quote, and I'll do it as Tasmanian Devil.
If you build it, it will come.
Oh. I can't say that whole thing. My Taz is just noises. If you build it, they will come.
That's dumb.
Okay, all right. How about give me a quote and I'll give you a person to impersonate him as.
Just keep swimming.
As Jerry Seinfeld.
Just keep swimming.
Yeah, that's great. Give me one, and I'm gonna do it in the style of Marvin the Martian. I gotta think about this one. I used to have a Marvin impression in my
hot jambalaya.
Hot jambalaya.
Oh, that's pretty good.
All right. Want one final one?
All right.
We'll just tie it back to a previous episode. You do this one in the style of Goofy.
You had me at hello.
That's pretty good. Honestly, it's weird that it's so similar to Jerry Seinfeld, but it works.
Yeah. Wow.
Hey, Max, you had me at hello.
That's a good one.
Wow, that was really fun. Maybe we should put a name to that segment and come back to it.
I know, right?
Oh, you have another one? Oh, no, I was done, but you had a look in your eye. Like,
I did. My precious.
Okay.
Call him.
How about that's all, folks?
As Gollum?
Yeah.
That's all, folks. That's a good one to stop this one at. That's all, folks.
That is all, folks. So great.
This is Doubtfire is a comedy about a guy who had a divorce with his wife and lost custody of his kids. And the whole movie is him about dressing up as a nanny to try to spend more time with them.
My favorite part was how he got all mixed up with his boss and his family going to the same restaurant, and then he kept switching back and forth. That was pretty funny. That was my favorite.
All right. Mrs. Doubtfire came out in the year 1993.
Yeah.
Which I guess we're hitting the sweet spot of all the movies. I guess when we're talking our nostalgia.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you see this movie early on, or was it after the fact?
I don't remember. I think I saw it after the fact for sure. I must have seen this on VHS or even on TV.
This was a movie that I wouldn't have expected to watch. I don't think we would have caught it, except we had some relatives come over and they brought it with them. So it was like kind of like I probably even gave it to us as like a gift or something, just like, hey, we're coming, here's just, hi, good to see you here. We brought this so we could all watch it together, and we watched it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a movie my family normally would have watched, but I think we're really pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember what setting I was in, but it must have been at home. Obviously, I didn't see this in theaters.
But this is directed by Chris Columbus, who is known for many things and became famous after the fact. But
Chris Columbus, did he also discovered the Bahamas, America, right?
That was really low hanging fruit.
Yeah,
I wonder if he gets that a lot. That's
Probably.
why he goes by Chris. No, Harry Potter. He produced all of that. In fact, I heard or read, who knows if this is true, that Robin Williams could have played Hagrid in Harry Potter, except they had a rule that it was Brits only. So,
wow.
I don't know how far they got with that idea.
We know he could have done the accent.
He definitely could have done the accent, or it would have been totally different if it was him. I was trying to find the other informative fact about Chris Columbus, and now I can't find it, so I'm going to have to come back to it later.
He sailed the 7 seas.
Oh, yeah. He sold scripts to Steven Spielberg that became Gremlins and The Goonies.
Oh, wow.
But it says his career didn't take off until the major success of Home Alone.
Dang.
Yeah, so which this movie feels similar to that.
Well, it's in San Francisco.
That's not the same at all.
I was thinking Full House for some reason. Home Alone, Full House. Wow, very opposite.
This is going to be a really good episode.
A full house. Empty house. Wow.
Yeah. I love how your mind, the beautiful mind of Josue that just put that together.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Anyway, I loved this. I was listening to the soundtrack when you came in.
Yeah.
Because I was looking for Dude Looks Like a Lady or something just to get.
Dude Looks Like a Lady. That's such a good song.
What do you think he's saying right before Dude Looks Like a Lady?
I don't know, actually. That's
okay,
a really good
I
question.
only know this because the subtitles were on, but it's the word that. Dude looks like. I just thought he was like, that.
Yeah. I thought it was just like an ad lib, like, a woo woo sound.
And it was, yeah, exactly. And up until now, I don't even know, not that I listened to that song a lot, but I always thought he was saying, do it like a lady.
Oh, do it like
Both of them
lady.
make sense in the context of the movie.
I guess, yeah.
Just some really good song selections, by the way.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say is I went looking for that and I ended up just finding the soundtrack for Mrs. Doubtfire, which is Howard Shore, I was telling you, who did Lord of the Rings.
So crazy.
And I didn't even think about it. And I was playing it going, wow, this music made a big difference in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like the 90s too. Like I remember like hearing that type of soundtrack on a lot of 90s movies, right?
Yeah. It honestly, and then when I read Home Alone, I was like, oh yeah, and not that he did Home Alone, but it did feel like, okay, this has a feeling. Yeah. That felt like the 90s. You're right.
So crazy. It's so good.
But
very, very nostalgia. You're like watching this and you're going, okay, yeah, like I remember when I was a kid, like all the other movies that this reminds me of.
And all the other songs that they placed, including the song at the intro. Whatever, I don't even know the words.
So funny.
What? By the way, with the subtitles on, I don't speak Italian, but I'm like, he had to sing. There's a lot of words in there.
Yeah, I should have done that.
De la città. That's all I know. I can't do all the rest of
them. It's so funny because I'll turn the subtitles on and the kids are like, can you take the words out?
Oh, we're the opposite because we've done it so much that sometimes I'll ask for them back on.
Yeah. I mean, I do that even by myself because I'll miss something that they said, and you read it, you get so much more, you don't miss as much things, right? So I normally do have the subtitles on.
Yeah, and I'm trying not to go deaf because I'm like, otherwise I'm turning it up. What did he say? What?
Yeah. I wonder if that's just like 90s movies or is that just normal?
Well, everything, especially if it's Christopher Nolan.
It's just crashing and blowing up.
Yeah, Bane's got his mask on. I thought this intro was great to showcase Robin Williams.
I mean, he's super talented. My kids right away, at first Ezra is really hesitant to watch old stuff, right?
Okay, had any of them ever seen it?
No.
Okay.
No. And we were like, Ezra, just give this one a shot. Yeah. I was like, okay, fine. And I don't know, like 5 minutes in, Ezra's like, how can he do all those voices? Yeah. And they're, okay, I think I like this. And yeah, they loved it. They watched it. We enjoyed it. Yeah. Watching it all over again, it was pretty good.
My kids, most of them had seen it at least once, but not enough to quote it or anything. Yeah. And Lucy had never seen it.
Oh, wow.
Which I kept forgetting. And then she would react and I got excited because I'm like, oh yeah, you've never seen this. Yeah, so that was really fun. And then just, watching him flex all those vocal skills at the beginning.
That was him doing the mouse voice and the cat voice.
Yes.
It was so good. And some of the sound effects, I think, too. No. Did he do sound effects in it?
But he was all over the place.
I mean, he did the puff, the smoke, the puffing of the smoke.
A soothing cigarette. It's like, what an insane, and that's the point of that. So it's animated. Yeah. He's voicing these characters. The cat is letting the bird smoke a cigarette before he dies, and he has a moral problem with it. Yeah. Obviously.
He's like, you guys are you're like advertising to kids to smoke. Like, this isn't right. How many of you guys think this is wrong?
And the whole producers is full of smoke.
Yeah, they're all smoking. He's like, oh, okay. That was the wrong crowd to ask. They're biased. Yeah.
But I also thought it was a good way to set up his deal because you get that he's got a moral compass in there that's driving him. Yeah. And he's very impulsive because he just quits his job. He's like, all right, well, that's it. I'm done.
It's just crazy. I don't know if I have the guts to do that, but sometimes you do feel like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore.
But he barely started.
I know.
And that's his thing. Like he's just in, out, just like he's flopping between characters. He's just, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this thing the next, whatever.
Yeah, that's a pretty good, I didn't see that little like insight there.
But he's kind of like that in most movies he's in. Well, yeah, I guess I'm thinking Patch Adams was like that.
True. Yeah.
What's Dead Poets Society?
Yeah, he wasn't as like
I haven't seen that
animated
one.
as that one.
Yeah. But it's that core of like morality, that charm that he has.
Yeah.
He just is a very personable, loving, you like him. He's a likable person.
Yeah, he's a goofball.
Yeah.
And I mean,
but a sincere one. Like it always has these like serious undertones, I guess.
Yeah, he's a very like almost like a child.
Yeah. And he's this loving dad. He pulls up because he quit his job to meet his kids at the bus stop.
And he was early.
In that station wagon, which I'm pretty sure is the station wagon we had growing up. Not with the wood paneling and stuff. It was a completely different color. But if it was a Chevy, because those tail lights, like the whole thing, I'm like, wow, remember when that was a thing?
One of my kids, I don't know if it was Eva or Ezra, they were like, that's a cool car.
Yeah.
I was like, really? Okay.
Not when your parents make you sit in the back all by yourself because you're fighting with your siblings.
That's hilarious. Speaking from experience.
Jeff, go to the back.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Yep. Well. But yeah, so you get him interacting with his kids, and then it flips, and you see his wife, who's played by Sally Field, who's just working her tail off.
Oh yeah, she's like working as in an executive like office building or something like that.
Interior design.
Yeah, something like that. She's artistic, but doing design for bigger companies.
She's a consummate
artistic
professional. She's very like on her game.
She's the one making the money.
She's the boss. Yep. And then it cuts back to the party scene.
Oh yeah.
The kid's not supposed to have a birthday party because he had bad grades, but dad's just throwing him a party anyway.
And he somehow gets the zoo, petting zoo in the house.
He must have planned. No, he couldn't have because he just quit his job. He gets all these animals, all the kids like in the neighborhood. Music's blasting out of that little boombox. Somehow it's loud enough to raise a flag for noise ordinance.
That's true. Yeah.
She unplugs it later. It's just that little boombox on the table.
So crazy.
Yeah, I don't know how he pulled all that off.
Yeah, it's amazing because like, how did he have the time between picking them up and her having to leave her job to go do this?
Not possible.
Crazy.
It must have been so fun to film that party scene, though.
Yeah.
Those kids just like tear up this house.
Yeah. There was like goats. So there was a pony, ducks, a bunch of ducks. How do you even wrangle ducks up and have them not like leave? That was really weird. And then his son is what? I don't know. How old is he?
Oh, like 12.
Yeah. So a 12-year-old wants a petting zoo for
I don't know.
Birthday party.
He's just going with whatever his dad's doing. They're just like, all right, you ever have one of those friends or people in your life that just kind of convinces you to do silly stuff and then you have a good time?
I guess, yeah. That was pretty crazy. And he's on the couch with them like dancing around. He's so
on the table.
Oh yeah, on the table.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
I didn't notice that until this time probably. I'm like, they're on the dining room table.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Our table would not last.
And she gets a phone call basically.
Yeah.
Of like, hey, there's an emergency at your house. You got to get there.
Yep. And she comes home and
the old lady like complains. She calls the cops, I guess.
Yeah, she calls
she calls the
her
wife.
office. Yeah, it looks in her planner, her Rolodex or whatever. Yeah. I'm like, I was thinking that like my kids, this seems normal to me because I grew up in that era, but for them it's like what's going on here?
Why isn't she using her cell phone?
She punching numbers in on it wasn't a rotary phone, but it was pretty close.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, that lady might have already had one.
That's what I thought.
Upgraded phone for her.
Yeah, and then the mom comes home. The whole thing, I remember as a kid, it's stressing me out. And they did it well. They painted a picture because you get the tension immediately.
Yeah.
She is
Sally Fields is amazing.
She's so good.
She's such a great actress.
Really, really good.
Did you know that there was an interview with her a few years back, and she said that she'd never seen any of her own movies.
Really?
She'd never watched them back.
None of them.
She didn't like doing that.
I get that.
So...
I mean, that's surprising still. I can't believe that.
Yeah, the way she acts and all that kind of stuff. How do you not watch back and maybe like critique yourself or something? Or
that's
maybe,
why, though. You get real critical. You're like, oh, I hate that. Or that was terrible. Or I don't like the way I did that.
She did such a great job.
Yeah, she's an outstanding actor.
But she comes in and she's like pissed.
Yeah,
like,
my begonias. And the horse eats the cake. I remember as a kid just feeling the heartache, like this is what she brought to the table and it just gets immediately ruined.
Yeah.
She has to be responsible, which is why the whole fight happens. Yeah. You get their whole character tension.
And the kids. We didn't talk about the kids. Matilda. The little girl plays Matilda.
Yep. And she's also in the newer Miracle on 34th Street or something. So it was like an era where she was in a few different movies.
Yeah, for sure. And then the kid, what's the kid's, the actor's
Lawrence,
name? Lawrence something.
Not Joey Lawrence, one of the other Lawrence brothers.
Yeah, which is really interesting. That's really cool.
Come to me. And Matthew Lawrence.
Matthew Lawrence. And then the daughter, she's in Independence Day. I forget
That's right.
Yeah. Is she the president's daughter?
I think so.
No. She's not the president's daughter. She's the pilot, the pilot that drives the
Oh, right. Because she has a brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do remember
the trailer park. Yeah.
So in this movie, her name is Lydia. Matthew Lawrence's character is Chris. And then Natalie is a little girl. I wrote this down.
Yeah.
And he's not in this yet. But the fact that I don't know how well known these guys were.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
No, go.
I was just going to say that they got Pierce Brosnan also.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Into this movie.
James Bond.
and my other favorite character who comes up later is Mrs. Sellner, who's Anne Haney.
Yeah. The social worker.
Yeah.
Right? No, the court liaison.
The court liaison. This is how I learned the word liaison, was this movie.
Probably me too.
What is liaison? Liaison, mommy? Liaison. Yeah. She is also in Liar, Liar. As a similar character. She's Jim Carrey's assistant or whatever.
Yeah. She's that very stern lady. Yeah. Yeah, so funny.
So anyway, this fight breaks out though. And as the party was great, this fight is really awful.
Oh, I know. And immediately like he turns on like his acting skills. I don't because he's like super earnest. You feel bad for him. He's trying to say like, oh, come with that line. He says, come on, honey, we love each other. Like,
oh yeah.
Like you could tell like, he's definitely like, no, I don't want this. Yep. And she does. I in my mind, I'm like thinking, what a jerk. Give him a chance or like work it out.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But like she said, however many years, 14 years or whatever, that she's been feeling like this. And who knows? But
you haven't said anything? Just talk.
Well, that's what she said. She can't be serious around him when she's having that conversation later with the Mrs. Doubtfire him.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, so it blows up and then she decides she wants
and the
a
kids
divorce.
Are listening. Like, yeah,
it's really
so sad.
It's really heartbreaking. And again, really good acting. And I think that's a sweet spot where this movie sits. It's really funny. It has really funny moments, but it's also like Lucy kept going like, I thought you said this was a funny movie. I thought you said this was going to get better. This is so sad. And I'm like, yeah.
They had to really make it serious at this point. They had to put the drama into it too. Because I think that makes for a good story. That makes for good like depth. That makes for good, plays the comedy up better. Because you have to go in and out emotionally.
Yeah, exactly. And so then he goes to his brother's house and his brother is played by Harvey Feinstein. Another
guy that was in Independence Day too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I got to call my mother.
He was funny, and we come back to them later. But then they cut to a courtroom where they're kind of arguing this thing out, and you find out that he basically loses custody temporarily.
Yeah,
but he's like, the judge says you can only see your kids once a week, and he can't.
Yeah, once a week on a Saturday.
Yeah, and that's his whole life is his kids.
Yeah,
and so he's just not willing to give it up.
I know.
So he's got to find a way to be with his kids, and he's impulsive. He doesn't have any sort of you're going to get in trouble for this. He's just like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do.
This will backfire.
So you get that drive away scene then in the station wagon where he goes and says goodbye to his kids. Again, like really heartbreaking.
And the kids really like they really love their father. They really want him around. I mean, I guess because he didn't have a settled job, a steady job, and it was always like flip-floppy doing things, whatever. I'm getting the picture from the movie that he was at home more with the kids.
Oh yeah.
He just spent way more time with them. So they're
not
really
doing
attached.
Anything, their house was a disaster. I don't know what it would have. You don't get to see what he did, but later on you get the impression he never really cleaned or cooked or had them do their homework.
Yeah.
he just kind of let them do whatever they wanted.
But I'm sure that's why she felt like she was the bad guy, because she had to come home after work and just then make everything happen.
Yeah.
Right. So I get it. And from her perspective, I'm like, okay, I get that. And I think you kind of see the progression of him learning.
Yeah.
So a little something. So
yeah, this whole movie forces them all to learn some lessons that they wouldn't have done otherwise.
Yeah, exactly.
And so you go right from him leaving to him meeting Mrs. Sellner. He's sitting with the court liaison in the office, and then the comedy dials back in.
Oh, yeah.
And it gets so funny.
This was really cool where she's like, do you have any skills? I do.
Like, I do. Yeah. I do voices.
I do voices.
She's like, what?
You do voices? And then he goes into like doing voices, and the kids are eating it up because, they do quick cuts of him doing different voices.
Yep.
And I wonder if this was like, all right, Robin, just go for it. We're just going to capture a bunch of stuff that you do. And then this was probably him just ad-libbing and just doing all this stuff. And like, there's only a couple of portions at the end where he's now back in the scene playing to her like, I thought I was funny.
Yeah.
But apparently I'm not. Thank you for letting me know. Because like, she's not laughing at all. Doesn't think this is amusing. But for us, it's like, the kids are like, how does he do that so well?
Yeah.
Like Ezra was like, how does he do? I thought I can do voices, but that guy's amazing.
And I remember as a kid watching that and feeling that. And now as an adult, I'm realizing, there's a lot of these that are impersonations that I didn't even know who he was impersonating.
Yeah.
Because Robin Williams references are already a little bit older for me.
Yeah,
so for my kids, they're not getting
they're over their heads. Yeah.
Like later on when he's got the lobster and he's putting it in the thing and he's like, I am not a crook. He's doing like a Richard Nixon. I had no idea. I thought he was just saying some random line.
Which is weird because like, what does that have to do with a lobster?
I think it's because the lobster has his arms out like Richard Nixon did when he was getting on the plane.
And he's only got two. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
The pinchers.
Which is, again, it's another layer of humor makes it even funnier.
Oh, that's so good.
And so for Robin Williams, that stuff happening all the time. I can't even imagine. So he's hitting these deep cuts and he's so funny. And that's what I'm thinking watching this. Like because I'm a creative or whatever. Yeah. I'm like, you really do have very specific quality skills. You just have nowhere to apply them.
Yeah.
How disappointing.
But he does though. I mean, he could have if he would have just stayed at the studio,
But they were compromising his morals.
I know.
He doesn't want to teach his kids to go light up.
Well, there's other ways to go about that, right? You know, you talk to you put a formal complaint in, you try to.
Robin Williams isn't putting in a formal complaint.
But that's the whole point. If you were just a little bit more mature.
And I think that's the tension too, that it's his gift and it's his curse.
Yeah.
It's like, this is what makes you so good at what you do, but also you can't hold down a job.
Yeah. And you need to adjust some of this. You need to grow up a little bit. Be an example to your kids. Yeah,
just from a comedic standpoint, when he goes through all those amazing impressions and then he's just like, I'm a hot dog. What does he say? I can do
an impression of a hot dog.
Yeah. He just lays there. And I got everybody laughing.
So funny. Yeah. My kids laughed on that one too. And then Ezra repeats it. He's like, I can do it too. I'm a hot dog.
And so he gets a new job in a TV studio, but he thinks he's going to be acting or doing something, and it's just moving crates of stuff for shipping.
He's so funny because it's like, you take those, you put them in a box,
and you ship them.
And then when you're done with those, you take the other reels, you pack them, and you ship those too. And he was like, okay, so what do I do after I pack them?
Yeah,
you ship them. Smart ass.
Do you remember that ad? I think it was Kmart way back in the day when they were shipping stuff, and everybody in that was like,
I just shipped my pants.
Yeah, I ship my pants.
I just shipped my bed. Wow. Yeah, exactly.
And you ship them. Yep.
Yo, he's so funny. That guy's so serious, and he's like not having it.
Yeah, and so while his life is just going down the hole, Miranda has an appointment to meet with Stu, which is Pierce Brosnan's character. And
apparently they have a history.
They have a history, which I didn't quite get how deep those undertones were as a kid. Like he was talking to her kids about like when we knew each other in college, and so he like alludes to a deeper history there that they're not talking about. Yeah. And so that makes it even smarmier.
Yeah, kind of weird.
Is Pierce Brosnan, like when he's introduced in this film, are you supposed to look at him and go, ooh, what a hunk?
I think you are.
Because I never thought that. And even when I was talking to my kids later about the movie, and he was kind of the guy that they pointed out as like not a good guy, like not the bad guy. I mean, he obviously is in this. He's kind of the foil in this, but nobody really liked him. And like he's Pierce Brosnan, like
I think they did a good job of making him not like a not likable character, but making him like just a little bit vague and shallow, like one-dimensional, you know, not giving him a lot of, I guess, depth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily felt like I hated him, but I understood why
Robin Williams
Daniel hated him.
Yeah.
I never really got why she liked him so much, other than that he was handsome and executive.
That's what I didn't get either. And I read that originally before they cast Pierce Brosnan in this role, that he was going to be even more of just a terrible jerk of a guy.
Oh, I'm glad they didn't make him like super terrible. Because I mean, there's moments in the movie where I think he earnestly likes the family, likes the kids, especially like in that pool. I'm not skipping ahead, of course, but like in the moment when they're at the pool, and Mrs. Doubtfire is overhearing him talk to a friend of his, and he's like, "Oh, I'm crazy about those kids."
Yeah,
it's like, oh, he's not a terrible person. I like the way that they played that, because you don't want to it's too easy to write a character that you don't want to love. You know,
just villainous to be.
Yeah, exactly. Villain. He's really kind of like a spectator in like the problems that are happening between him and his wife.
Stu?
Yeah.
This Stu, what a name.
Yeah. It's more like a sloppy soup.
A thick soup.
A thick soup. Yeah.
Yeah. Stuart Dunmire. I thought when I wrote it, because I was writing down cast names, and I was like, Stuart Dunmire. Like, what? That's not a very hunky name either.
No.
Maybe a little bit British.
It's a very forgettable name. I think they purposely wanted you to know that he's in this movie, but he's not the one we're supposed to like really invest or care about too much.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah,
I think he did a good job.
I think he did a really good job too. Like in the end, he was what a great choice for. But he's just like hopping in on that meeting with Miranda, and she's trying to sell him stuff, and he's like, "So you want to go to dinner?"
Oh my gosh!
Was this okay back then?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
I guess if you look like that, maybe you can get away with it. I don't know.
Well, that's what I mean. Anyway, so we can talk more about him later. But then they go back to the kids, and they're having dinner at their dad's apartment, which is just trash.
It's probably what he can afford.
Yeah,
he's got to do a lot of upkeep, but he's not trying too much right now.
No, he's really sad. He's kind of at the bottom, but he finds out that Miranda, his wife, is putting an ad in the paper. She needs somebody to come watch the kids. And he's like, let me watch the kids. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So he decides to foil her plans by changing the number.
That was really slick.
Yeah. So nobody could call.
Can I see the ad you're going to put in the newspaper? And he changes like 2 numbers.
Yeah. So nobody can call her. And then he just makes a bunch of calls.
Yep.
I remember that being one of my favorite parts as a kid too.
A lot of the voices at that point, I think he did like 2 or 3 voices there, but
more than that.
But some of them sounded similar to me.
Sure.
Like, I'm like, are you sure you can't hear that this is Daniel?
Oh, you mean sounding like him? Well, yeah. That question came up a lot too for us.
Yeah. I'm like, how does she not know? And then
I am Job.
Yeah. I am Job. That was pretty good.
Layla, get back in your cell. Don't make me get the hose.
That was pretty. I mean, if you're going to sabotage something like that, that's the way to go. I totally thought at first when he switched the numbers, I thought he was just wanting to have people call the wrong number.
Oh, yeah.
Call a wrong number, and she never gets any phone calls, and this doesn't work. And hey, I can't find anybody. I guess if you do want to watch the kids and babysit, after school, then let's do this. But no, the plan of him calling and getting her like just worn out, and then finally acting like Mrs. Doubtfire, I thought it was pretty. That was a pretty
so
good trick.
Good. And I'm wondering, was this a plan all along? How much did they change in the writing process? Because this is such a good moment for Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Boy, I don't work with the males because I used to be one. She's like, what?
Yeah, fitting for San Francisco, I guess.
Yeah, and you kind of come back to it a little bit later.
Oh my gosh!
So then his last one, Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was here or later on when he starts trying to figure out his outfit and stuff, that Lucy was like, oh, is he Mrs. Doubtfire? She didn't know that it was going that way. And she's seen the clip of it. Like she just thought it was some old lady. She's like wondering, when are they going to introduce Mrs. Doubtfire? This whole movie is about this lady and I haven't seen her yet.
That's so funny.
I read that the girl, what's the oldest girl's name? But you were saying is in Independence Day. But
yeah.
When she came in for audition, they called her in. They introduced her to, and she thought it was like the producer or the hiring manager's mother or something, but it was Robin Williams dressed up as Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh, whoa.
But she's all being polite because she thought it was this person's mom and she didn't know it was him either. So I guess for the uninitiated, it was pretty good.
They did a good job with the makeup.
Yeah, but
the prosthetics.
He even jumps into that on the phone call without a plan. He's just making it up as he goes. He doesn't even have the name yet. He makes that up on the spot.
Yeah.
So it's just more impulsive.
What was it was like he went to a newspaper and it said something about...
Yeah, we doubt, something Doubtfire. The headline said something about...
Yeah, and he's like, oh, Mrs. Doubtfire, dear.
Yeah.
Wow.
Doubtfire, dear. I can't do Mrs. Doubtfire. So he goes to his brother's house and he's like... What does he say? I need you to make me a woman.
And what did he say?
I'm so happy.
I don't forget what he says, but I think he's like, oh, I've been waiting for this my entire life.
But it's another like more Robin Williams showcase scene where he just gets to dress up like a bunch of characters for no reason.
And they get to do, what's that one song?
Matchmaker, make me a match. With the big old nose, you know?
Which is funny because they're trying out these different faces and then he's also kind of putting the voice to these faces. And like, you can't do that because you've already sold Mrs. Doubtfire.
Exactly.
So you can't do the Yentl voice or whatever because
Barbara Streisand.
Yeah, that was really random. And knock on the door, Barbara Streisand is your nanny? No way.
Yeah, especially with the Mrs. Doubtfire voice, or when he has the long nails.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was gross. And then what does he say? He's like, you're worried about the nails? He's got a 5 o'clock shadow.
yeah. Already in the morning before breakfast or whatever.
I mean, Robin Williams is a pretty hairy dude.
And so when they come up with the Mrs. Doubtfire thing after all that, which is a great reveal. They never even show you the face.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Until they open the door. But one thing I picked up on that comes back later is the kids are sitting there watching TV. Did you remember? I don't know if you remember this. And the mom's like, turn that off. And they're watching this program. I don't know if it was Twilight Zone where somebody's like mashing a plastic face.
Yeah, that's right. It was like Clayface or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you cut to, they had just done this whole thing on his face. And then he shows up as Mrs. Doubtfire.
Really smart.
Yeah. And,
really smart.
And she's kind of walking them through the whole process, talking about the divorce and stuff.
Yeah.
And how terrible her husband is, not knowing.
Oh, wait, she doesn't say it's a divorce.
She doesn't? What did she say?
No, she's like, no. She says something about their dad is not here or this and that, whatever. And she's like, oh, it's so hard with the divorce. And she's like, how did you know it was a divorce?
Right.
And it's like, oh, because they talk about him like he's close by.
Yeah, he had to just throw it in there, yeah. But I like the line when he's like
recovered.
When he's like, I'm sure you normally encourage your children to leave the room before you verbally bash their father.
Yeah.
Those are the things I love the most when he keeps just throwing in like, because once he puts on the outfit, I'm thinking of it as Mrs. Doubtfire. I'm not thinking about it as Robin Williams at all.
I know. Oh my gosh, you're right. They did such a great job of you forgetting that it's him.
Yeah.
And then those little moments where he does those types of things, you're like, oh yeah, it's him. He's hearing all these things.
Yeah.
So good.
So he gets introduced to the kids and basically a really successful first day. Is it that whole first day where he even cooks? Or there's there a hiring day and whatever. Did you notice that the kids are watching TV and on TV is the Dick Van Dyke Show, like when he comes in the room, and they're messing with a bunch of wigs.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's so funny.
Is that like they must have done this on purpose?
They must have.
The first was the mashy face and then the wigs.
Yep.
And, so he basically is showing that he's responsible and making them do their homework.
But before that, he goes back to his brother and gives him the messed up mask because he gets rolled over by a garbage truck.
Yeah.
And he's like, I had an accident. We had an accident. And then he hands him another one.
Well, he must have called him ahead of time.
Be gentle with her.
She's an old woman.
She's an old woman. Such a good scene.
The kids, though, are like, they're pushing the limits. He's not having it. He makes
because they're just watching TV. They're not doing their homework.
Yeah. So he makes them clean the house.
Yeah.
Now he's being the person that he should have been as a dad.
Yeah. It's so funny. And he's the one, like, as a nanny, she's supposed to be the one cleaning and all that stuff. But she's like laying down the hammer. Like, you guys got to do your work.
Yeah.
And he has them clean up instead of do their homework. And they're like, well, if you want to do this or do your homework. And they're like, no, we'd rather do our homework.
Right. Yep. And they go
Pretty
do
good
that.
strategy.
And then he has to cook.
Yeah. And he has to cook. And this is where he does not know how to cook.
No, it's a mess, labeled kitchen or not.
Yeah.
And he's got the outfit on, which catches fire.
Yeah, he catches his boobs on fire.
Smells like burning rubber.
It's getting really hot in here. He's like, oh.
Yeah.
Starts beating his chest with like the tops of the lids.
Yeah.
So funny.
You need all this humor in this movie. And so it really like carries it along.
And he just
really
so happened to have a cardigan, so he can just cover all that up before his wife.
Well, of course,
comes
he must have taken it off to cook because he must be hot in there.
Yeah. With all that latex on and everything too.
Ugh.
How are you not just sweating through everything?
Yeah.
It must have been.
And so he fails and he has to order dinner. And
from a fine dining restaurant. He pays like $134 for it.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's insane, but it looks amazing.
Yeah, which makes him later, you see him watching like Julia Child's videos.
Yeah, he has to learn how to cook.
Yeah, because he can't do that every single time.
Right, no way. I mean, what's the point? He would have no money at all.
Yeah.
He's already living in that apartment,
Yeah.
So he leaves and the bus driver again that night, yeah. But
yeah.
they're all impressed.
Dirty old man.
Even the daughter likes him now. But yeah, he gets on the bus and he's just like, I just want to turn this off and now I can't.
Yeah.
He's exhausted enough.
He walks home with when he gets home, he's like the heels. Like the misogynistic pants that makes his heels.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill him. I'm thinking to myself too, I told Elizabeth, I was like, why doesn't he just wear flats? Why can't he just wear flats?
He committed to the character.
And he's so tall. So when they first meet him too, he's got heels on.
Are you like a linebacker?
Yeah. You're such a tall lady, big lady. It's so funny.
And the next part was one or two of my kids' favorite. The whole montage when it hits the dude looks like a lady.
Oh yeah.
And then you see him like the kids and he's cleaning.
Yep.
Now and doing whatever he's doing. And
he's like dancing like Tom Cruise in Risky Business, right?
Clark loved that, and maybe Justice too. And then when he's playing the broom like it's a guitar.
Yeah. They also have the walk like a man, talk like the Beach Boys, right? Is that the Beach Boys?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
No,
Definitely,
I don't know.
It sounds like that era. I can't remember who that is. Yeah. And then he meets, as Mrs. Doubtfire meets Stu for the first time. And that's when he says, oh, it sounds more like a thick soup.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But then...
because he comes home. He comes to,
meet the kids,
see the kids, and he's already there. The Stu's already there, right? But he sees his Mercedes Benz out front.
It breaks the thing off.
He's like, "Oh, I found this on the street, my dear." Oh, that came from my car. Oh, isn't that just a shame?
And then he's given his wife relationship advice.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Which is basically like, don't get in a relationship with this guy.
And it's like, yeah, I don't know if it was in this moment or in the kitchen where she asks him like, how long after your husband passed away did you? Oh, never. Once he goes, you embrace celibacy.
Yeah, that might have been later on because this relationship escalates so quickly, though.
I know.
You have to in the movie. You don't have time, so I don't fault them for it. But it was funny. But it is maybe that same day or not too long after where the kids find out because his son walks in on him in the bathroom and is like, oh my God,
yeah.
She's a he.
He's a he, she. She's a he. He's a he, her.
Who did this? When they find out, and he's like, Uncle Frank and Aunt Jack.
Yeah. Uncle Frank and Aunt Jack. That's right. Those little quips right there are so quick and fun.
But even again, that moment of him acting like himself now in the outfit is really sort of disarming.
Oh gosh, yeah. For them, I wonder if it would have been really cool if they would have like never told the kids.
Yeah.
And played it off like the actors, like the actual actors didn't know.
I don't know.
They would have probably found out eventually.
Might have been traumatic.
Yeah, probably. And I like how they say you can't. What's the little girl's name?
Natty.
Yeah,
Natalie?
you can't tell her. You can't tell her because she's gonna blow my cover.
Yeah.
And then I'll only be able to see you through plated glass.
Through plated glass.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then actually it doesn't happen. So
Yeah. Maybe it should have. And then go back to the TV station though, and he meets Mr. Lundy by mocking the TV show with this old guy with the
what kind of idiot lets this stuff be on for 25 years? I'm the idiot.
I'm the idiot.
Oop.
Yeah, whoops. I didn't actually mean that.
And the other guy's like, hey, you got to get these things shipped out. And he's, oh, yeah. Have you met Mr. Lundy?
Yeah.
He looks at Mr. Lundy like, yeah, I know you. He knows who I am.
And then you get that walk like a man transition and the kitchen convo where she's like, you find out Miranda has heard from the court liaison. She says Daniel has a woman living with him, and
it says he's his sister.
He doesn't even have a sister, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sure he wouldn't, whatever." And she's like, "Oh, it doesn't matter." She said she's really old and ugly,
really old and unattractive.
Unattractive, yeah. And he's like offended, yeah. And I remember watching it. Still, you almost feel like Mrs. Doubtfire is offended, but then you realize no, Daniel is in there as Mrs. Doubtfire, offended.
It's so crazy.
And I love when she's
the levels.
Unpacking the meat, whatever, Miss Doubtfire. And she's like, as I hold this dead meat,
this cold dead meat.
I'm reminded of Winston.
The cold dead meat reminds her of her old dead husband. Oh, that was funny too. I remember looking at Elizabeth and just laughing.
It was really funny. And then they have that really heartfelt convo where he tells her whatever and whatever. But also, he finds out why she divorced him. And that's when she has that conversation with him as Mrs. Doubtfire. Like, I could just never be serious with him. And he's like talking with her now in a way that he probably never, ever did.
Yeah, true.
And that was really sweet.
And he's like, I cried myself to sleep so many times. It's like, oh, really? You could have just turned around and been like, can we talk? And then really listen to me. You didn't, I don't know. You don't get so much history, but I felt like did you really try? I don't know. Because he turns around so quickly in this movie too.
Yeah.
Because, and I don't want to skip ahead too much, but when he does finally clean up his apartment and he cooks spaghetti for real for them and whatever, it's like, you could have done this.
Yep.
But I guess, you sometimes you just need something to really kick you in the pants.
I bet there's some sort of psychological truth behind this that, you just need a change of atmosphere, environment, or circumstance. And then all of a sudden necessity, makes you do what you never did all along.
Yeah.
You break your pattern or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But then they go to the pool and they were all like amazed at the club. And my kids are like, why are they all, it's just a pool.
I'm wondering why she agreed to go to the pool.
No idea. Maybe they cut out a scene or something.
I guess. I'm just like, why go to why? Say, oh, no, darling, you guys go as a family. I'm just a nanny. I won't go.
Yeah.
But they brought her and she can't be in a bathing suit.
Nope.
She can't dress any differently than the whole Doubtfire outfit,
Yeah.
So why go to the pool?
I don't know. But all the little quips about the rich people and the liposuction, like all that stuff. It was really funny.
My daddy's stomach doesn't look like yours.
Yeah, that was really good. And so he as Mrs. Doubtfire ends up sitting at the bar.
Yep.
Which is also
drinking
funny.
beers.
Yeah.
So good. And he doesn't care. He'll like, what are you looking at? In his man voice.
Yeah. With Stu's friend.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And the bartender is like, is everything all right? And, yeah, I'm fine, whatever. Just give me another beer.
Give me another one.
I got you. It's like, whoa.
And that's when Stu comes by and says that he loves the kids, but the dad's a real jerk. He's so mad. He just hits him with the line.
Oh, there was a drive-by fruiting.
Run by fruiting. Did you not tip them?
Yeah. That's so funny. He's always jabbing at his pride.
Yeah.
Did you not tip them? Do you have enough money? It must be when he first sees her, when he comes out of the water, Pierce Brosnan, his character, comes out of the water and says hi to the family. Oh, it must be cold, my dear.
Yes.
He's just always jabbing at this dude's pride. Oh, so good.
Yeah, then Pierce Brosnan plays this really well. He looked so upset about the fruit hitting him in the head.
Oh, he did.
Didn't know what to do.
Didn't know if he'd be. Did he know it was Mrs. Doubtfire? Or did he believe her?
My kid asked that. I think he believed that. Well, I think he didn't think it was her, but I don't know. That probably started sowing the seeds of something's going on here.
Yeah, maybe.
But he was more concerned that his head actually hurt. Like, he was like rubbing his head, like, what is going on?
Like, how in the world? If this lady did throw this, how did she throw this so hard?
Yeah. And then what's going on in my life? Is this karma? Is this, what is it?
Yeah.
And you go back to the TV station and then he starts endearing himself to this Mr. Lundy by he's just playing around with the dinosaurs.
That's right. Yeah, because the reason why he was like criticizing the show, whatever, was probably because this one show had been on for years. He was like, I was 2 years old. Yeah. And it's the same guy playing with, talking about dinosaurs and teaching kids, but he's so dull. And so when the studio's empty, he goes and he starts making his voices and playing with the dinosaurs. And he says some pretty funny stuff there, the T-Rex is, Elvis.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm the king, king. Yeah. He's so good at all that stuff. And the I guess the executive, the producer or whoever, the owner of the TV station, like is seeing this and is liking it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's watching him. He doesn't know he's watching him. Yeah.
He finally gets to a little bit to the end. He's with the raptor. I'm a raptor doing a raptor rap, and then he's like, he just starts.
Yo, see me. I'm living below the soil. I'll be back, but I'm coming as oil. Yeah. Like, oh, wow. Somebody must have written that ahead of time. Maybe. He couldn't have come up with that on the spot.
Who knows? Probably, I wouldn't be surprised if it was him who wrote it, but if it wasn't, it was still good. And he surprises him by clapping and he walks in and he tells him like, let's talk about this.
He invites him to dinner at this very specific place at a very specific time.
7 o'clock.
At Bridges, what's the place?
Yes, Bridges. Bridges restaurant.
I like the line when he leaves and the dinosaurs, he's like, all right, guys, take 5. Take 5 million. You're dead.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, my kids love that one too. Take 5 million.
And then he's back at his apartment. And you see it's all cleaned up and his wife is now impressed with what he's doing. And he's like, why don't you just let me take care of the kids, now? You see what I can do. But you realize she can't. It's like, we can't get rid of Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah, because they love her so much now.
Yeah, it's like too good to be true.
It's part of the family. Later on, they say that.
In fact, now as Mrs. Doubtfire, when he's back at the house and she's picking out a dress.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That was really funny too.
That was.
How about this old frock?
Yeah.
And they invite Mrs. Doubtfire to dinner.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, of course, I'd love to be there.
Stu's taking me to a restaurant, my favorite restaurant for my birthday.
Where are we going? What time is it? And she's like, Bridges at 7 o'clock this Friday.
This Friday? Bridges? I can't.
Oh my gosh.
It's my turn to pull the bingo balls at the Rotary.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a really good excuse.
She's like, oh, Mrs. Doubtfire, the little girl. And she's like, you have to come, Mrs. Doubtfire.
You have to go, Mrs. Doubtfire. We love you.
And so he's forced to have 2 dinners at the same place and put himself in another one of those scenes where he's just got to.
This stressed me out
so much.
This stressed me so much.
Like,
me and Elizabeth are like, why?
Here we go. Yeah, just say no.
Such a great movie to make you feel like that, though.
Yeah.
Like just to feel how stressful of a situation can you put yourself in.
Not only is he having dinner with 2 different people, but as himself, as Daniel, he can't let them know that he's also there because that would create a problem. So now he has to hide, especially. So the guy has a table in one spot and they're like, would you like smoking or not? And he says, smoking, please.
Oh, gosh.
Just so he could be far enough away.
What was her excuse for being in the smoking section?
That she used to have an addiction and she just needs a little bit of nicotine every now and then.
Right.
So
she wants to be around people that do it. Oh,
yeah. When they're walking and she's just like floundering for something to say, but at some point she's like, oh, I thought I saw Clint Eastwood. That would make my day.
Yeah.
I was like, that would make my day. Oh, it's so funny. And then Stu gives Miranda this, I can't remember what they call it.
A bracelet?
Yeah, basically a bracelet as a birthday gift.
A brooch. No, not a brooch.
No. But Mrs. Doubtfire is like, oh, you could either wear that or feed a small country.
Yeah, again, make him feel bad for his gesture.
And so the little girl has to go to the bathroom and he sends the 2 older kids off to the dessert table to pick out their dessert ahead of time.
Right, yep.
So he can just insult Stu, he can make so many sexual innuendos that I completely missed as a kid.
Oh my gosh, I think I did too, for sure.
And he's just like, Stu, you see his face like, what did you just say?
He's like, this lady. Sorry if I'm being too vulgar.
Just starts losing
She's like a sailor, talking like a sailor right then.
And at that point, Daniel, who's under this, like you're getting the idea that he just can't. Watching this guy just step in on his family and his life, and now he actually has a capability to do what he's supposed to do, and it's still all crumbling around him, and he can't stop it because he's making it worse.
I think that's what he says, right? When he sees them at the house when he first gets introduced to them. He's like, just this guy just walking in on my family.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Because he really is doing a good job of just being a part of their family.
And,
crazy.
And then he has to go change to meet up with the other guy because he's late.
Oh yeah, he tells the guy at the front desk, like, hey, can you? He calls and he tells the guy at the front desk, can you please tell Mr. Lindy I'm running late? I'm in traffic, but I'm almost there.
How does he call him in traffic? Don't know.
Yeah, right. He
just pull off at a gas station. Yeah. No, he doesn't.
Not a car phone thing.
No way.
You know, like Zach from Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, I know the phone, but there's no way he had one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, true. So
he changes and then he starts drinking a lot.
Like 3. He goes, give him 2 doubles.
Yeah, because he's like, I'll have what he's having, and it's a double. And he's like, I'll give him a couple so he can catch up with me.
Oh my gosh. And immediately he gets tipsy so fast.
He starts stumbling around, you know.
As Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah, and he has to change back to Mrs. Doubtfire, and he's stumbling back to the dinner table, and then you get the jambalaya. That Stu ordered.
Yeah, because Stu's like, no pepper, no spice.
Is that a thing to be allergic to pepper?
I don't think so.
It's like, absolutely no pepper. I'm allergic. Like, you're allergic to pepper? Like, that seems worse than peanuts.
Yeah, for sure. And he goes to he sees the kitchen. He goes back there. He puts on like a chef's jacket. Yeah. Just so he can go back there and he doesn't put pepper.
He puts cayenne pepper. A lot of it.
On the jambalaya.
Hot jambalaya.
The famous quote, hot jambalaya. And he leaves. And he goes back to sit down with them.
On the table, he falls down because he's drunk.
And then that's when his teeth fall out, right?
Yeah. And Stu's trying to help him, and he's hammered. He's trying to fish it out of there, and he says, "What does he say? Carpe dentum, seize the teeth, seize the teeth."
So let's use like pinches, like take them out.
And they're all watching Mrs. Doubtfire just lose it. So they he said as Mrs. Doubtfire, I have to go take my medicine or something.
That's before
I can't take it orally. So maybe they assume that she's just whatever medicine she took, she's losing
Maybe that's what they're thinking.
No idea.
Oh, I have to go. And then she's like, I have to go put these back in. I'll be right back. Goes back to the bathroom.
Changes to be Daniel.
To go back to sit down with Mr. Linden. But then Mr. Linden is like, Daniel, are you wearing perfume?
With ladies' perfume? Is that lipstick?
Is that lipstick? And he's like, I just saw an old flame of mine. Yeah. She's a waitress here. Oh, really? And then this guy.
I've got the stretch limo, he says. Yeah. Go see if she has a friend.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
He's so old.
You have a friend for me. Yeah. You know? He's like, okay, go. I'm going to go ask her. And he gets back up and leaves.
Now you get why this guy's running the TV station into the ground. Like, get your life together, old man.
Yeah. And then this is where he makes the mistake.
He changes, but he gets back to the wrong table.
Oh.
And then his hands are tied. He has to act like this was his plan all along. It was to be Miss Doubtfire.
This is your host of your new show.
Euphigenia Doubtfire, dear.
Euphigenia. What in the world?
Yeah.
What kind of name is that?
He's so confused.
Is that supposed to be like a play on euthanasia?
No. Well, he's killing somebody because Stu is over there choking on his jambalaya.
Right. He eats that piece of shrimp, and it's just like,
and then you hear him inhale the shrimp and go, and then he can't breathe.
Yeah, the sound effects was pretty good on that one.
He's choking. And then, somebody.
Oh, and they catch her.
Mrs. Doubtfire because he stood up.
Yeah, because he stood up. Oh my gosh.
Help is on the way, dear.
And he like jumps over people. He jumps over like the thing. Like how does this old lady do that?
No, yeah, nobody knows.
And and this is where he saves the dude's life.
Uncaringly.
He's like, oh my God, I killed him.
Yeah. And she had told when she was doing her interview for the job, she had said that she is certified with CPR,
Heimlich maneuver,
whatever.
Oh my gosh.
So she's of course the only one that can help. And it's the most painful Heimlich maneuver you've ever seen.
Work with me, man.
And then falls, and that was one of my kids' favorite too. When they like to the ground, and then the shrimp just launches back onto the table.
And it's an intact. He didn't even bite it.
No, it was
straight
so hot.
intact.
He just inhaled it. And they get up like from the ground. And Daniel is, of course, Mrs. Doubtfire, but drunk. And now his mask is like peeled off his face.
Yeah, like a little bit torn off, a little bit like Two-Faced. Oh.
And it's out. And everybody in our room was like, oh no.
And the acting of the mom.
Yeah. Oh, her reaction was so good. Daniel. The whole time.
Yeah. Oh, she's so good at that. She did such a great time.
I'm leaving. We have to leave. We have to leave right now. We have to leave.
Oh man, she freaked out.
And you get it because this is all coming at her, just all at
the
once.
little girl. Daddy?
Yeah.
Oh. So bad.
And that's probably the last funny thing. Like, it's so funny, so disarming, so whatever. But then you go right to the courtroom and it's devastating, obviously, because you're like,
he doesn't have a lawyer with him either.
No.
It's just he's defending himself.
And he does his impassioned plea at the end. And the judge is like, well, you're a really good actor. And I just believe that you're acting right now. And you don't actually love your kids. And he's right to be mad. She just sat there. And let that all kind of happen.
Oh.
And that's when Lucy was like, I thought you said this was going to get better.
Oh.
It was really sad.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Sally Field, the way she played that too, you can see that she's kind of like remorseful about it. And she doesn't say anything. I don't know why. I mean, it really puts it in, like, drives it home that they're not getting back together.
Yeah.
And they drive it home, the rest of the way. But man, you're like, say something. You have the ability to go, hold on. He really means it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's adjust this somehow. But now he has to see his kids only once a week on a Saturday with supervision.
Yeah.
Ugh. And then he says like something like that to her too. It's
later
like,
on when they talk, yeah.
It's like, I have to see my kids with somebody watching me like I'm some deviant.
Well, because that's what they thought. Like, he's been spending this whole time dressed up as a woman and doing whatever, like, to convince the kids and hiding and lying.
They didn't see the movie.
But they know what he did. Right?
But they didn't watch it like us, how great it was.
Yeah, they didn't see how he was really good. Well, that's why the judge thought, I don't know. It really is sad. And there is something to that. I don't know what you call that, because we were talking about that a couple of weeks ago with Gladiator, where it puts you in this position where even when you've seen it again, you're feeling the tension and you're again like, don't do it. Oh, don't do it.
Yeah.
So, and that, it's just really, really well done to put you in that spot.
It really is. I mean, they did a really good job. It's funny because it is a comedy drama. And they did a good job of like making you feel the emotions that these characters were going through. I mean, he's like the tears welling up in his eyes. Like Robin Williams is not just a one-dimensional actor.
Yeah, no, not at all. Ugh. And then they go back to the house and they're looking for a nanny and they just can't find one.
The way they cut to the lady that they interview.
I don't do windows. I don't do laundry. I don't do that.
When they cut to her face, everyone in all the kids were like, ugh.
Yeah. It's like in Mary Poppins.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, you realize like there's just nobody out there that's going to be the same at all.
Mm-hmm.
And so she leaves, they cross like the last name off the list. And then they're all commiserating about Miss Doubtfire and we want her back. And then she's not real, but we miss her.
Yeah.
And it's not like we miss Dad, but we also miss her.
Yeah.
And then they hear her on the TV like, hello, whatever.
Hello, dears.
And it's like they all just can't believe it.
Yeah.
So she comes to the TV studio to see him there. So who knows how much time has passed.
I love his face and his voice when he's Mrs. Doubtfire, but he's really just Daniel. Because he's like, the executive, they're walking away like, it's a hit. He's talking normal, right?
The puppet guy, yeah, he's just talking. And like, we're gonna get in syndication. We're going to Hollywood.
Yeah, he's talking normally, and then he's all happy. You still see, but then when he hears her voice, he turns around and it's just like,
yes.
Doubtfire's face is so like, angry, like just like, what are you doing here? Like, stay here. I'll be right back. Coming out of that face is so weird.
You're right. And then they finally, they argue a little bit, but then they kind of have a heart-to-heart where she's like, the kids need you. We all need you.
Yeah, she's like, I'm done arguing. This back and forth is not going to get any better. Like, that's all we do.
Yeah.
And even after everything, and he's being responsible or earnest and like not joking around, they still argue.
Yeah, it's just not going to work out.
So that really sinks it in. They're like, this is not going to work. Like, you think in a happy ending, you like, they'd reconcile because she sees how good he is with the kids and how much he's changed, and like, let's get back together.
Yeah.
No, but that does not happen.
No.
And at the end, so they make an arrangement.
Yeah, and the kids don't know. She just tells the kids, we have a new nanny.
Yep. Come on, let's meet her.
But
and they're like, oh.
Before they introduce her, the kids are watching TV.
Oh,
and on TV is Mrs. Doubtfire, her program.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It is. Yeah.
So it's
my kids were like, how is he on the TV and they're in person?
Yeah, you're like, well, they recorded ahead of time. Yeah, mine too. Yeah.
So it's like they are getting Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah.
But not really.
Right. It's him. And now he's going to be this. I don't know how that'll work because it's obviously not Mrs. Doubtfire. But they kind of get both because they get to watch her now on TV and they get their dad back and he's responsible. And so it kind of ties together that way. Yeah. But at the end, like he picks them up to go do whatever. And then the voiceover of Mrs. Doubtfire is responding to a letter that a kid wrote in about the parents getting divorced.
And she's watching it.
Yes. And
she's watching that portion.
He sort of is explaining that this can still be a happy ending, even though it doesn't end in the way that you want it to.
Yeah. They kind of explain like different people have different families. Yeah. And then they kind of really drive it home that the future looks like this with this family. Yeah. Because she's like, do you want to come in? And he's like, no, I'll wait outside. It's like, oh man, this is the house you lived in for 14 years.
You danced on that table.
You danced on that table. You became an old lady in there.
You threw a remote in the fish tank.
Yeah. It's like, this was your home. Yeah. And now you're like, no, I'm going to wait outside. I'm going to be out. Like, kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's a very melancholy ending. And yeah, so it was like a fun watch, but also you leave going like, that's life.
It is. Yeah. Right? It doesn't, that's life. Yeah, it is. It's life.
That's what I mean about Robin Williams movies too, that this feels like his sort of thing.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, because there's a lot of, and we know now, right? As a human being, Robin Williams carried a lot of, emotional stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did your kids react overall, like to the ending, all that? Once it was done, were they like...
They were a little bit like surprised that there wasn't like a bow at the end of the story of like they get back together or whatever. So them listening to Mrs. Doubtfire talk about whatever kind of made it a little bit better. They were surprised. They're like, oh, they're not getting back together. This is how they're going to be.
Yeah.
And that's where, my kids were like, you guys will never get divorced, right?
Yeah, I know.
Like,
it's exactly. Never. You can feel that question in our room too. Yeah. Like, is everything okay?
We're like, we're fine. We're not watching this movie for a particular reason.
Okay, kids, turn off the movie. We have to have a conversation.
Oh, no.
Hello. No.
Your daddy's going to have to come back as a maid. Oh, no. I think this is really cool. It's kind of like a kids grown up kind of movie to watch. I don't know.
Yeah. When I was asking them their favorite part, outside of the voice impressions, the hot dog and the shrimp flying on the table, Clark's was when the little girl swears at her mom.
Oh, yeah.
When she comes to pick it up. I thought that was so funny.
Yeah, we're daddy's damn kids too.
Yeah. And then they liked the most at the ending when they opened the door and it was Robin Williams, like it's Daniel there. That was really, I don't know that they were expecting that. So.
Yeah. They're like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Oh, the daughter's like, what about the courts? And it's like, ask your mom. Like, I took care of it.
Yeah. I worked it all out.
I don't know how all that works. How do you make that happen?
Yeah, I don't really have to explain it too much. But then they also like the montage of her cooking and cleaning and all that stuff.
It did kind of feel a little bit like, because this is 90s, got a little bit dated, but it kind of does show a little bit of like I guess they did a good job not showing that the court system is a little bit more biased towards the mom, always winning out in these types of battles. In this case, they kind of made it really clear that, okay, he doesn't have his stuff, done. He doesn't have his stuff put together well. So it makes sense that she needs to be the primary caregiver. But at the same time, they didn't feel like they gave the dad a chance.
Right.
A little bit. And that normally is what happens.
Right from the beginning, it was like you get to see your kids one day a week.
One day. I mean, man, that seemed a little extreme.
Yeah.
Because, he got an apartment. He had a place. All you had to do was clean it up. You couldn't give him 3 days a week.
And at that point, they were operating
Really weird.
Well, I mean, who knows where their bank accounts were, but she definitely had a better lawyer.
Yeah. And that's basically why, maybe that's why he didn't have a lawyer after that. I mean, he just spent like $135 for dinner.
Yeah.
He probably couldn't afford the lawyer.
140,
again.
the guy didn't have any change.
Oh, yeah, that's right, 140. You have any change? No, I thought so.
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
When was the last time you saw this? Was it about what you remembered? I mean, I've seen this a few times, so
Oh, yeah, no. I don't know when the last time I saw this. I know I probably watched it on TV or something as a rerun or whatever. But no, I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I could watch I didn't feel like any moment, I didn't feel like at any moment it was bad or cringe or like, oh, I don't remember it like this or whatever.
Yeah, it was still fun when I watched it too. It was still like I could sit down and watch it. It wasn't too dramatic or sad where you're like, is there some movies where you're like, I'd rather not.
Yeah.
But Robin Williams just makes this.
Yeah, he nails it.
They're all like, and again, like you said, Sally Field in this, such a good actor. Even the kids did well, you know, so I thought it was just good choices all around.
Really, really, really good choices. And then Stu at the end, they didn't really go back around to what happens with him.
No, and somebody in our house said that, it might have been Amanda. Like, why don't you see him at the ending? And
I think maybe they made it feel like maybe she takes a break from that. Maybe she realizes, no, I don't want to.
It was one of those things to me. My observation was you can't do that because that would leave you with more tension.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't liked this guy the whole movie. What am I supposed to just be like, okay, I like you now? It would be hard. So maybe that's a story, maybe not. But to leave it open-ended is probably better with audiences because I bet they had test audiences. Maybe they tried it out.
Yeah. This is how to write a story like this. They did a really good job thinking stuff through. Like you said, like the things that the kids were watching on TV really tied in really well.
I still can't believe that. Yeah.
This is how you write something, unlike what we saw last week.
Yeah, the screenplay of Alice in Wonderland, the TV edition.
Nowhere close. Nowhere near as thought put into it.
We have all these quality actors. Let's just throw them in there and give them a song.
So crazy.
I hate cats. I hate dogs.
I mean, but if you look at this cast, right? So you've got 6 characters, basically.
Yeah.
6 main characters it revolves around. You got, sideline characters like the executive, Mr. Lundy, the brother.
Oh yeah.
So they did a lot making you feel like you're in this family's world.
Yeah. Yep. In their house.
Yeah. I mean, and that's all it really takes. You don't need a huge cast to do a really good story.
No, just Howard Shore.
Oh gosh, yeah, the music.
Because even listening to it this morning, I'm like, put you emotionally right back.
Yeah.
I can feel it, the whole thing.
The violins, the bells,
One of the songs, though, is called Divorce.
Oh, really?
Don't put that on a playlist.
Yeah.
Honey, play that Divorce one again. I just want to listen to that. Oh, just get the crying out.
Get the crying out. Put that on that Spotify Divorce Dad playlist.
So, Josue, what do you think of this?
Oh, this holds up.
It holds up.
I think if you haven't seen Mrs. Doubtfire, you gotta watch it. You gotta sit down and watch it.
Please watch it.
So good.
It's really great.
There's a lot of Robin Williams stuff I think I can say you should watch. This one's one of them for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What are your others? Okay, obviously Hook.
Hook, yeah.
Yeah.
Hook. Patch Adams is great.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in a long time.
It's a really good one.
This and Hook of his outside of Aladdin, those 3.
Aladdin, outside of
I've
Aladdin.
seen the most.
Yeah, I think I've seen Hook probably the most too. Yeah. I love that movie.
These are a couple trivia facts that I found on IMDb, so who knows if they're accurate. But throughout the film, Mrs. Doubtfire says the word dear 101 times.
Oh, I bet. Hello, dear. It must be cold, dear.
And also I read that this is actually based on a British novel.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And also the second highest grossing film of 1993. Do you know what the highest grossing film was?
Titanic.
No. Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park. Yeah. Wow.
Same year.
Came out the same year.
Yeah.
That's a really good time for movies.
Honestly.
Man.
It's crazy that it was that long ago.
It doesn't feel like that long ago, but it is.
Yeah.
90s. The 1990s. You were born in the 1990s? Oh my gosh.
1900s.
The 1900s. Yeah, sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
The 1900s.
Anything else you feel about this movie when you, we're tying a bow on it. That's it. We can't revisit it again.
No,
Is that the rule that we've established with this podcast? Once we revisit it, right to the trash.
No, right into the fish tank.
Yeah, that's right.
Like just like the remote. This movie is great. Go watch it. And if you want to watch it again or introduce it to somebody else, do it.
Yeah.
It's a cool movie.
It's a great movie. Yeah. All right, Josue, now it's time to close the loop.
It's like a snake eating its own tail.
Let's go.
I love it. So we talked about Gladiator in episode 9. I would be remiss if I do not mention, although we did a whole quiz based on the fact that Russell Crowe is Australian, he's actually a Kiwi. He was born in New Zealand.
Oh, dang.
First 4 years of his life. So I don't want to rob him of that. He moved to Australia, but let's just mention the man is from New Zealand.
That's hilarious.
Again, listening back, I was still amazed how well you did at that Australian slang.
Yeah,
you really came in like, I'm not going to do well, and you knocked it out of the park.
I couldn't believe it.
I haven't worked in, whinging or any of those other slip, slop into my day-to-day yet.
Me neither.
Also, episode 5, just to revisit Three Musketeers, not the movie, please, not the movie, but our first mini test kitchen. So we talked about watching that documentary. Snickers was the top-selling candy bar in 1930, and the Three Musketeers came out in 1932.
Whoa.
Which I think we talked about. But you may not know, and I don't remember if we talked about this, the Three Musketeers, the name came from the fact that it used to come in a package of 3. And at the time, each 5-cent package contained 3 bars with 3 different flavors: chocolate, strawberry, vanilla.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I didn't remember that at all. And apparently
that's a good marketing thing.
Yeah. Well, it's worked out, I guess. Nobody knows that anymore. But
I wonder why they took that away. Because that makes sense. So the 3 packs, 3 different flavors, 3 Musketeers.
Yeah. And you could sword fight with them. The Great Depression is when that happened, and then World War II happened, and then the economy and everything that was going on, and so they ended up like shelving it for a while, and when they came back, it was just chocolate.
Wow, dang,
yeah, chocolate nougat,
crazy.
But that's all I got.
So what war would do to candy? Yeah,
that's what war will do to candy. So you said.
Candy business goes down during war. Nobody wants to eat candy.
No, it was great during the Depression. That's all we had.
That's true. Keep you warm.
Give me another Musketeer.
Extra calories.
Vanilla.
No one can afford the strawberry anymore. Too much.
No.
Oh man.
Yeah. So what are you thinking now? We at our house just watched the first 3 episodes of Rings of Power.
Oh yeah, I did too. Yeah. The kids didn't watch it with me. I watched it on my own, but I think it's going really well. I think I might like this season better than the first one. Yeah, the pacing is faster. They're kind of getting to stuff more. The first one was a lot of development, but it was pretty slow going. The internet hates this show, or the only people I see. I don't know. Maybe not everybody. Yeah. People are always complaining, but I've been enjoying it. I think I like it too. I'm enjoying it a lot too. And my kids, well, at least the older ones are, well, I was going to say are a little more into it. Lucy fell asleep. She's tired. They have to get up early for school. That's so funny. We just last night we had a couple friends over. Yeah. And we were talking about Lord of the Rings because they're like uber fans. Oh. The wife of our friends, whatever, she had a 33rd birthday party and it was like Lord of the Rings themed. Oh, really? I mean, they were describing this and they went all out. Yeah. She even did not Frodo's. She even had Bilbo Baggins's for his birthday, his speech. The speech? She actually redid the speech for her friends. I'm like, whoa, okay, you guys really went all out. We grew this party tree in our front yard. Yeah. They knew a lot. Oh yeah, like a lot of lore and things, whatever. So we're actually thinking they haven't seen the new season. Oh, okay. Rings of Power. They're going to rewatch the first one. Yeah, and they want to just binge watch when it all comes out. Oh my goodness! So I'm like, hey, good on you guys. But I invited them to come back to the house. I'm like, if you guys want to watch it here at my house, surround sound or whatever, I'm down to watch it again if you guys want to. They're like, okay, we'll do it. So I really think they're going to take us up on that.
Yeah.
We told them the whole story of like Elizabeth, how we introduced her to the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship.
I still feel bad. We talked it up so much.
We did. And then we like...
And then we're like, we have to watch the extended edition. It's the best.
And you know, it's funny because we were telling them the story and they're like, well, of course you have to watch the extended version.
Was it a Sunday? Why
it
were
was
we?
A Sunday.
Yeah, we were so exhausted.
We were exhausted from setup and teardown. And we fell asleep. And she's the only one watching it. No background of Lord of the Rings or anything. She hated it. So I don't know if she'll partake in watching Rings of Power or not. Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm enjoying that. And with this, there hasn't been time for much else with school going on.
Yeah. Switchfoot released their live recording album.
I saw that. I haven't listened to it yet.
It sounds really good. Yeah. Really, really good.
Did you know that was coming? Had we talked about that? I didn't remember.
You know, I think I knew it was coming because we saw them for that tour.
Yeah.
And I think they'd mentioned something prior, but I caught it by surprise. I was like, oh, wait. Oh, yeah, I think this was coming out. So anyway, listen to it sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds really good.
Still haven't listened to the re-release of Creed?
No, I haven't. I need to go back. I was thinking about that the other day.
That's a real beautiful letdown.
Oh, wow. Good one. That's a good one. No, I was thinking about that the other day. I was listening to Switchfoot and I'm going, oh yeah, that's right. Creed did the same thing.
Yeah.
And then like, you know, one of my favorite bands is Incubus. And they just did the same thing kind of with Morning View because it came out 25 years ago now too.
Wow.
They redid the album in the same location they recorded the album prior.
Oh, yeah?
And so Morning View Lane or Morning View Road in this mansion, that's where they recorded it in California. That's what they called it, Morning View. We went back, re-recorded it in the same place. And, you know, the new bass player, they kind of put a lot of stuff that they do live. Because, you know, bands, when they play live, sometimes will play around with their arrangements or how they go from one song to the next or something like that. So they did those in this album, which is really cool. So like there's like breakdowns that happen in the middle of some of the songs where they're not there in the original version.
Right.
You know, and the vocalist's voice has changed a little bit. You can kind of tell different things, whatever. But I'm listening to all of these now. I'm going to listen to Creed to be like, okay, how did they change stuff up? Because it's really interesting to see.
But Creed didn't re-record it. They just remastered it.
They just remastered it.
Yeah.
Oh, see, that's different.
That is different. Yeah.
I really do like it when bands revisit their stuff and kind of, you know, they learn so much or they get experience from doing it live.
Right.
And they implement those things. Like that's what Switchfoot did that.
Yeah.
I can kind of remember like the concert and thinking, oh, they did a little mashup between songs of a couple other songs from other albums.
Yep.
Before going into Redemption. And they did it in the recording. They put it in the recording. And I'm like, oh, it takes me right back to the concert.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it when they do that. So, if you haven't heard of Incubus, Morning View, you should listen to that.
Yeah, I've never heard any of their stuff.
We can go back to that one day.
We're going to have to.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Well, let us know what you think about this or if you have any future ideas. We'll definitely give you a mention. Josue, where can they reach us?
wdyt.show.
Yep. You can find all the episodes there. You can find us and it'll link you to Spotify, to Apple Podcasts, to YouTube. Because for all these podcast episodes, I've been dropping in my little Easter egg hints.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the gladiator hint to Alice in Wonderland may be my favorite because if you zoom in on Commodus's ring, you can see the Cheshire cat.
I saw
on his little ring.
So good.
Ring. But people can't see it unless you're on my Facebook page. I've been posting them there. I don't know. You'd have to get real close into the podcast viewer to see that. So, but for now, if you have any thoughts, comments, suggestions, ideas, you can either drop them in the comments on Spotify or you can email us at walkslikeaman@wdyt.show.
Walks like a man, talks like a man.
Either that or just hi@wdyt.show and you can let us know what you think.
Yep.
And excited for what is on the horizon. My list is still growing.
Yep.
And
I need to start adding more stuff on it because I randomly will get an idea and I'm like, oh, I'm driving or something. I got to remember to put that on the list.
Like smart speaker, add whatever. or I don't understand you.
Throw you into the fish bowl. So
yeah. Please, everybody, give us a 5-star rating
yes,
and a
please.
review.
All the stars.
All the stars you can conceive of. Please drop them there. It's very easy to do. Take you 5 seconds. You can do it right now. And we would love it. And we'll let you know also, we'll let you know anything. It's leading to something, and I don't have it.
And also, subscribe.
Thank you, Josue. You should do the outros because I think you'll be much better at it.
Oh, no. You kill it.
Yeah, no, well, we'll see. I just killed it today.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.